hey, and welcome back to another episode of the You're Not Done Yet podcast where meaningful conversations happen. I ain't even gonna make no excuses about where I've been. I'm back. Let's get into it. So today we are talking about it is okay to remind God. So in Isaiah 43 and 26, it says, "Review the past for me. Let us argue the matter together. State the case for your innocence." But I really just want to focus on review the past for me. So y'all know I love to share like real world experiences and like what I'm facing, like, as I'm going through my season of, continuous faith in real time, right? So the message on Sunday was from at church was "Don't bury the promise," and he was talking about the Shulamite woman who was well off, and whenever the prophet came through town, like she always had a room for him, and everything that he needed, like she just served, like she served the prophet, she served God, right? And so, um, talking about the promise, how she was promised a son, she got a son, and then the son ended up dying like in her lap, right? And one of the things that stuck out to me was, you know pastor had made a point of just saying, like, speak what is true and not what is seen, but also saying that, like, God reminds us to put him in remembrance of the things that he has said or the things that he has told us. And when I heard that thing, I was like, okay. Okay. And it really stuck out to me as far as conviction wise, is because, sometimes I feel like we are hard on ourselves and don't want to remind God of what he has told us. Like, we don't want to remind God of like what his word says about certain situations, or what they say about what the word say about when it comes to us. But I also do feel like if you have a strong connection with God, he is not going to be upset because you reminded him of the things that he told you, that you remind him of the promises that he has, given to you or said that was going to come to pass, right? And so as I am in my situation, of course, of unemployment right now, and school is out, and I really just been trying to figure out, like, what's going on, God, like what's going on, like what's going on. And I remember going to the altar on Sunday and just having, just an encounter, like just an encounter with God. And I know one of the things that I said during my encounter was that you told me to trust you no matter what happens. And that was putting myself in remembrance of what he said, but also reminding him of what he said, right? And sometimes you need that reminder, or just that little notion or like affirmation that God is like just still here. Like he's listening to you, like he sees you, like he knows exactly what you're going through, and he just wants you to have faith and just hold on just a little bit longer. And I feel like in reminding God, I don't feel like it's disrespectful. I feel like if you and I have a relationship, it is okay to remind you of the things that you have told me, right? Like God has a whole bunch of us to deal with, right? Knowing that he has a file on each and every one of us, but sometimes before he go and get the file, you just want to be, okay, God, remember now you said this X, Y, and Z. Now you told me to trust you. You said that I would have everything you need. Like you said that, you were going to get me through this season, right? Like you said that you were going to provide for me. And it's like, God, I'm getting weary and I'm not seeing it. If I'm being honest, like I'm not seeing it. But some way, somehow, like I know that it's going to get done. I know that you are going to turn my situation around, right? And knowing that when you remind God that you are also filling in the gap between what God said that he's going to do, what your situation looks like right now, and you're believing in the middle for the two to coincide and for the two to like meet each other, and the provision comes, right when you need it, right? And I am in a space of believing God for something supernatural. Like I am in the process of believing God for something that is so big. And I know it's gonna come to pass eventually. It might not all happen at one time, but I know that it's going to do what it needs to do. And I think even when you remind God that you do have to have this sense of humility and this sense of like falling back and just allowing God to do what God said that He was gonna do while you do what God has told you to do. Because I know that I am very guilty of kind of like just stopping in the midst of my momentum, because I'm like, okay, God, like I'm doing all this stuff. Where is it coming? Like, when is it coming? Like, I'm being obedient. Like, I'm not seeing nothing move. But I think even in the waiting, there is something that God is doing on the inside of you that a lot of us don't like to admit. You know, like a lot of us don't like to admit that while we're waiting on God to move, He is shaping something on the inside of us. And one thing that I am also grasping with as well is like there's something in this season that you have to learn. And God is reminding you that, hey, like I'm your refiner, like I'm your reformer, like I want to continue to make you into a new creature so that when I do bless you with this thing, you won't feel overwhelmed. You won't feel like, life is like is beating you up, right? Or you're feeling, pressured to like make a decision because of the blessing that I've given you, right? And I know for me, I am just in a space where it's like if God is not in it, I don't want it. I don't want to rush the provision. Like I don't want to like go ahead of God and like mess it up. Like I don't want to go in front of God, ahead of God, and mess it up. Like I'm really leaning into that He has gone before me and He knows what lies ahead, but all He's asking me to do is have faith. Like all He's asking me to do is just trust Him. And even in the reminders that we give God, like, but do you trust God even when you're reminding Him of the things that He said that He told you, right? Like are you having faith, and are you trusting and knowing and believing that I'm just giving you a little reminder, God, like I'm still gonna do my part, I'm still gonna get my work done, I'm still gonna show up and do what you're telling me to do, but I just wanted to just remind you, like, hey, like, remember that thing that you told me? Remember that thing that you told me? It's been 6 months now. It's been a year. What are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? How are we gonna make this thing? What are we gonna do? And I know that I have found myself struggling with letting go. I have found myself struggling with the surrender. But I'm also at a point where it's like I'm leaning on Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, like trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. And also in Philippians 4, 6, and 7, it's like, don't be anxious about anything, but in everything with prayer and petition, like make what you need, or not make, but let, God know what you need. Like continue to petition it in prayer, right? And like I said, like I have been petitioning so much over these past couple of months, and I'm like, okay. But again, God has a way of reminding you that He hears you. He has a way of reminding you that He sees you. And even if you just hang on just a little bit longer, like y'all, my hair is not done. I feel like I feel rough. Like I don't feel like myself. But yet I am still choosing to fill this time with God. I'm choosing to fill this time with trust, and choosing to fill this time with, continuing to grow the ministry that He has given me, to grow the platform that He has given me. Why? Because this was a prayer of mine. The prayer of mine was that, God, if you don't want me to work a job while I'm in school, then allow me to be able to focus on my content full time. Allow me to be able to focus on, my platforms that you have given me full time. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, like I've been getting a little discouraged because I'm like, okay, like being obedient, like I'm showing up, I'm posting every day, like I'm getting my content in, I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing my videos, like what's going on, you know? But realizing too is that even in this season, I know that God is preparing me for something. Like, God is preparing me to be able to, you know, walk in these rooms, like walk through these doors, to connect with people who are going to, you know, help me in my purpose, who are going to be my purpose helpers. And, you know, we feel like it's wrong for us to remind God, but God reminds us of his love every single day. Every single chance that he gets, he reminds us. But remembering that faith starts in the heart, not in the head. Because having faith logically is like, there are going to be some things that just do not make sense, and they're not supposed to make sense. They're just supposed to be exactly what it is. And I remember listening to a message just saying that, you know, sometimes we get upset when God doesn't give us an answer, and we will never get an answer about certain things. Like, we will never get an answer about why this happened, why that happened, but we just know that it happened. Like, we know that it was all working together for our good, right? And one thing that I love about God, and one thing that I am embracing in this season, is that you can't say that you have faith, you can't say that you have trust, but you're growing anxious and weary about your situation. But it's like, God already knew that you were going to be placed here. God already knew that you were going to be faced with a trial and a tribulation. He knew that. So it's like, if God is all knowing, we have to realize and know that God already has a solution to the thing that we are facing. And it's up to us to continue to press forward. It's up to us to continue to move forward and keep going, because, you know, faith produces perseverance, right? Like, faith produces endurance, right? Like, you have to allow yourself to go through these things to get to the other side. And I am just so thankful just to be in a place where I can embrace the season that I'm going through. Even though it feels uncomfortable, even though I don't like it, even though I am literally doing my best not to crash out, right? But knowing that God is right here with me, I definitely feels like makes this season easier. And there is nothing that is going on that God has not allowed. And being okay with where I am, you know. And I'm not saying that I'm content, but I know that I'm here for a reason. I know that I'm feeling this way for a reason. Like, I know that there has been so much like warfare and tension for a reason, because there is something that God is birthing on the inside of me, just like there is something that God has birthed or is birthing on the inside of you, that he just wants you to see it through. And I am in a space in my life where I just want to see it through, you know. And I feel like, girl, this is nothing compared to what you went through 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And reminding myself that as a believer, we're all gonna have those moments where we can't see it. We don't know how God is gonna do it. We don't know when God's gonna, we don't know where God is going to do it. But we know that he's going to do it. You know what I mean? And it's easier said than done to, of course, have like that blind faith and just knowing that all things are working together for our good, even though our circumstances don't reflect what we're believing. But I want to encourage you to really step into speaking to your reality, speaking the truth to your reality, you know? And I'm not saying like, don't ignore your reality, but speak the truth. You know, like, you are above and not beneath. You are the head and not the tail. Like, you are more than a conqueror. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You know what I'm saying? Like, if God is for you, who can be against you? And I am learning to just lean into the word more. Like, lean into, you know, what it is that, what's going to give me peace, what's going to give me strength to like keep going and keep fighting. And being in this season, I feel like the season of the wilderness, like, you know, I'm out here, you know, with me and my child, and I'm out here, you know, chasing a dream that, or walking in a dream that at one point in my life I didn't think was possible, you know, but I'm here, you know. and realizing that God, and I always have to constantly have that reminder to myself. Is like, God wouldn't have brought you this far to bring you this far. Like, he did not bring you this far to leave you, my girl, and you know better than that. You know better than that. You know better than that. And what about this situation is so different from everything else that you have faced in your life? you know? So I just want to encourage you, and I just want to remind you that it is okay to remind God of the promises. It is okay to, vent to God and tell him how you're feeling, because and it was so crazy because like Sunday, like when I was at the altar and I was like outpouring and just really just saying what was on my heart. After service, someone came and told me, she just was like, God said that he was waiting on that. He was waiting for you to just outpour like that and just leave it, cuz I was facing so much leading up to church that Sunday. But I was like, but I'm still going to get up and I'm still going to go. Like I'm still going to do what I need to do. Because that's how important it is to me to still show up for God, because he continuously shows up for me. And you have to be mindful of, you know, trying to do it all on your own, because you can't. And there are some situations that God is just asking you to just trust him wholeheartedly. And I am in one of those situations now. Like, I want to run back to what's comfortable, and God keeps pushing back and just is like, girl, no. Like, just sit still and let me do what I said that I was going to do. You do what you do, and I'm going to do what I do. You know? And you're going to meet your provision on the other side. When you continue to walk up that mountain, you're going to meet your provision, but I'm not going to speed you up because you're uncomfortable. Like, I'm not going to speed it up because you still have that little ounce of like doubt and like belief that I'm going to do it. So, yeah, it's okay to remind God. And I pray that you guys got something out of this episode. And I pray that God continues to just pour into me as I pour into you guys. Walking by faith and not by sight. And just knowing that we are counting it all joy and all is well and it is done. And just know that it is okay to remind God of what he told you. It says so in his word, okay? And make sure that you are following me, your host, that it's Andrea B, on Instagram. And make sure that you're following us on Instagram as well as You're Not Done Yet Pod. And I will see you guys again next week. Bye, guys.